G'day everybody, it's story time, and I want to talk about when I was a little bit of a rebel and things you probably shouldn't do when you're a rebel and young, because things can go wrong. And here it goes. When I was younger, I used to go to the RSL club at Cora back in the day, yeah, late 90s, 97, 98, 99, and they used to have discos every 2 weeks, I think it was, every second week. And you go there and you have junior disco, and then you have a senior disco, and then you have the regular club kind of thing for the oldies, 18 plus, after all the discos have been done. And anyway, back in the day, I used to go there all the time and hang out there and muck around in the area where the memorials are and stuff they got there, soldier memorials in Cora, in front of the RSL club. And used to drink with my friends a little bit. And I've had a girlfriend drink before, and she got a little bit drunk and carried on once to the disco and ended up peeing herself all over the security guard there as he was taking her out because she was carrying on a little bit too much. And I was dating her at the time, Sarah, her name was, and the driver, he was my bus driver, Greg, and he ended up passing on because he had a problem with epilepsy. I think he had an epilepsy attack once and crashed into a tree on a corner on one of his, he used to drive buses. And an ex-girlfriend was on that too. That's a weird story because my mum was the first to turn up on that scene when that incident happened. So a small world, isn't it? But anyway, I ended up visiting her in the hospital. I just got back from Melbourne myself. Cassie, her name was. But anyway, move on from all that. Back in the day, I got drunk once. Don't know if the drink was spiked or not, but I got really drunk where I had to get some these people I didn't really know take me home. Well, not take me home, but take me to a place because I was in Cora. And I was meant to stay with a friend. I can't remember which friend it was, or I could have been staying with a friend. And I'm just trying to quickly remember now. And I end up, all I remember was I was around the arms of two people going to another place. And I don't remember anything after that. Don't remember getting there. And I end up waking up and I was on top of a bunk. I remember just getting to the bunk. I remember bits getting put into a bunk, like little vague bits of nothing. But I ended up waking up one time and I was in the top of the bunk. I'm like, where the hell am I? Didn't recognise anybody. And so I just sneaked out, took back off to my mate's place where I was meant to be. And they were like, oh, what happened? And pretty much got all split up. So you got to watch when you carry on too much and what drinks you drink, because things like that can happen. Really, I don't know what happened that night. And I was only, 15, I think, roughly. Yeah, 15, 14, 15 at that time. And so you got to be careful when it comes to drinking and drinking around people. Like if you're going to drink your own drinks and always supply your own stuff. Always be careful when you got other people's stuff and you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know, you can't trust your friends 100%. They're going to keep an eye on you and things can happen. So always be careful when it comes to drinking and mucking around with people who maybe like to play with drugs and stuff like that. Always be careful. So I thought I'd just do a little story time and talk about a time when I used to carry on. I used to carry on a lot. It was probably up to about 10 times I did that. Didn't do it all the time, but there was times where we used to drink a bit before we went to this go and carry on. One time I drank too much. I was a downer with the same chick, Sarah, and I felt sick and I kept throwing up, and she wanted to make out that night, and I'm like, oh, I wanted to do it, but I didn't want to throw up in her mouth, and I had this like bad throw up taste, you get that. She didn't care, but I don't remember kissing. I don't think I did anything. I don't think she liked it too much that night. But anyway, you don't want to get sick because that kind of thing can happen. You can miss out on stuff too. So drinking's not a good thing, is it? It can be fun and exciting, but a lot of times it doesn't really work out at all. It's best to do it when you're older and around trustworthy friends, and sometimes drinking times can be a good time. But you got to make sure it's the right time and who you're with and where you're at. It's my advice to people out there from the class of '99, because that's where I end up going up to before I end up leaving school altogether. As I was a little bit of a rebel, like I said, and I got suspended too many times, where it was up to like 15, 16 times, which was more than you're meant to have. I think you're only meant to have like 7, 8 times, and then they can expel you. And they put me through all sorts of things, and I just end up hanging around with the wrong people and gotten in the wrong crowds, right, with the wrong people, and got into incidents that just never worked out in the end. You can try so hard, but it's the people you hang around with sometimes that can make things keep on occurring. You know what I mean? And I didn't learn that lesson until I left school, because I was hanging around with too many rebels, as I was a rebel myself. But you can get out of that, and I was getting out of it. I joined the Army Cadets, and I lost a lot of my rebel friends, because I ended up getting a couple of, as people would call, geek friends and stuff just near the end, and I didn't date so much near the end in year 9 as well. And yeah, I ended up leaving school, and that's another whole story altogether, which I'll tell one day. What happened not long after I left school, and what happened when I got suspended. I ended up going to another school, James Fallon, but that didn't last too long, just for a few months, and then we would say shit hit the fan in my life not long after that for a little while. Anyway, people, bye bye, and I hope you enjoyed my story time. Check out what I brought in this morning. Whoa, smiling at me. It's the fabric of a bodyboard that I had. It's been left outside too long. And I'll see if I can salvage some of this fabric. It's a little torn up. That's sun brittle, so you've got to be careful with it. But I might use it in something, because it looks pretty cool. Looks mean too, doesn't it? So it might be used in something to mean something. For something, hey. But I thought it was something I won't throw out, because I could use it for something and someone would like it. You talk too much. Don't I, Stella? Yeah, I know. Anyway, bye-bye, and have a good day. See ya.